This video is going to cover off the basics of using Weebly, an online authoring tool for creating websites or blogs for my Meaningful Use of Technology assignment. Weebly is a free web-based authoring tool that you require a login for, so if you haven't already got an account, you can sign up. They make it easy to allow you to sign up using your Facebook account if you have one, or you can provide an email and password. I'm just going to log in to show you the basic setup. So the first thing I'll do is log in, and then we have the ability to create a number of different types of sites depending on the purpose that we want to create. In this case, I have a couple of sites that I've done for either a course that I took earlier in the year, and the first thing would be that I want to create a new site, be it, as I say, a blog or web page. So the first thing I'm going to do is click on Add a Site to the existing ones that I have, and we're going to be asked for some information about the site in terms of the type of site that we want to create. So if we want to do a website, we would choose the website option, or if we wanted to create a blog, which will change the formatting structure of the site based on a number of different template options regarding the choice that we have. We can also set up an e-commerce website with some shopping cart tools, etc., if we decide that we want to go that route. But for the educational thing, we'll stick to, let's say, creating a website for this example. Now, the first thing that will be asked for is to choose a theme. These are preset styles that will change the layout, color scheme, as well as some font choices. And you can see there are a number of different options that you have to reflect your style or what it is that you want the site to look like. And of course, these can be changed at any point, and the information that we've already input into the system will be reformatted to reflect that change. So as you can see, there's quite a few different looks that we can go with, and then it's just a matter of filling in the templates as we require. We can also start from scratch and create our own website if we'd like, but for the most part, the whole idea of this site is to make it intuitive and easy for somebody who's not had any experience building a website to sit down and very interactively and intuitively create a site from scratch using the templates that are available. So if I choose the template that I want, you'll notice that there's also some options for the color scheme that particular website or theme has already been defined by. And if you don't have any design sense in terms of choosing colors, I would suggest going with one of these preset ones, as a designer sat down and thought about the color choice and palette, as well as the fonts that are available. So when we choose our template, we'll be presented with the screen here that is giving us the ability to give a website domain name, and this is going to be the URL or the address at which your website will be accessed on the internet by. And if you don't have a domain registered for yourself, we can create a subdomain on the Weebly site, which basically will be hosted by them, and it will have a prefix that we choose that is describing the function of that website or the name of the website, and it will be followed by .weebly.com. These again are free to have on their website or their subdomain. If you want to switch it to your own, I believe there's a fee for that, or if you want to do some more advanced features, of course, that is also an upgrade to the free package. So the first thing I'm going to do is have to choose a unique name that describes your website. There are a lot of people using this, so there are a lot of names that have already been taken. It will tell you if the name is taken. My website is probably taken, so I'm just going to use some random characters just for the sake of this example. Once we've chosen a name that my website will be called, we can continue on with actually formatting and looking at editing the website's contents. So I'm going to click on Continue, and we'll be presented with the basic layout here. So they've got some stock images, they've got some formatting here where we have the name of the site that I've just created, or we can give it a new name by highlighting the existing blocks of text here. You'll see when I'm over top of that, we have an option of whether or not we want this to be turned off, which would hide the current text that's there. We can modify the text, or we can insert a logo or image. So if I want to put, let's say, the Weebly logo in here, I can choose the logo option, and it will either be able to supply a location via web browser, or sorry, URL, or we can find a file on our computer. So if I want to load a computer up from my computer, I can either drag it into this window, or I can click on Upload, and it will bring up the standard file browser, and I can choose the location of where my logo is found. And just one moment here. So here's the logo. It's in JPEG format. It's not necessarily originally created for this purpose, as it will have a white background and of course won't necessarily work well with the gray that's already been defined by the template. But for all intents and purposes, this should demonstrate that we can add an image, and then that logo will then appear on the screen. You'll see that we have already some social media options here. So if we wanted to have links back to our social media accounts like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or an email address, we can enter the appropriate information in each of these fields, or if we want to hide them, we can X out the options here. I believe you can also reorder these by selecting the dotted end of the field and shift them around to change the order in which they are appearing on the screen. You can also add more here if you have some other social media account or some other means of contacting you, then you can add them through that Add More button. So if I wanted to add some contact information for people to contact me through this, I can put in my email address, and this will open up an email account or an email program to allow people to contact me using that information. If I don't want to have Facebook, again, we can turn that off, or Twitter, and so I can customize the way that this is laid out at this stage, and if I need to bring one back, again, we can go back to the Add More button and choose one of these options here. We also can change any of the images if we don't like the stock ones that are here. Generally, it's a good idea to use non-copyright imagery, just using ethical standards when we're using images off the internet. There are options in Google if you're searching for images that are copyright free. I would suggest that you look into that if you want to utilize images off the web. Now, this whole system is, as I say, customizable by using a drag and drop method, where we have a list of different functions on the left-hand column. Under the basic, we have the ability to add titles or larger headline text, whereas if we wanted to have large areas of text, we could use the body text option here, or if we want to insert images or galleries or slideshows, we just need to drag the element that we want to add in to complete this page, or to add to this page. So if I wanted to add something like a headline for my website, I can drag it into this box here, and this will determine the placement of that headline on the page. When I release it, it's going to bring up a little window with the area to edit. So This might be for meaningful use of technology. And again, if I want to have larger areas of text, I can then again use the drag and drop feature and either place it above or below depending on where that text is supposed to go. So again, this will bring up another text area that I can edit. I can put in large areas of copy. For now, I'll just leave that blank. But as you can see, it's very intuitive. By utilizing this drag and drop method, we can quickly create a website using these various elements and not have to have any skills in HTML. We can also, of course, delete or move these boxes if we make a mistake in our ordering of things. When you hover over the box, you'll have the option of closing it or deleting it, or repositioning it using the little hatched button on the top here. So this will allow us to place it in order of significance. We can also, I believe, change some other things about this, either in terms of adding some additional keywords in the About section. We can copy or move them to another page in our website design. But for now, I will just continue on with some of the other tools that are available. If we go further down, we have some structure elements that will allow us to redefine how the page is made up. We can put in dividers to separate areas of the website that may not be relating, or we can add spacers to add additional white space for design purposes. You can also include or embed media. You'll see whenever there is an asterisk or a star in the corner, I believe this relates to the premium services. This is only in this case where we have HD video or audio that is going to be stored on the Weebly site, and this is why they want you to pay for an upgrade, is that they will be hosting that information. But if you have any videos that you've uploaded to YouTube, then basically we're going to embed the YouTube video on the page, and it will just really be a hyperlink that will play the video from the source of YouTube rather than Weebly having to host that information. You can also, as I say, do some e-commerce if you decide that you want to make a website that has some stuff for sale, and I believe this may also be a pay option, although I've never really investigated that myself. One of the more interesting things which can be useful in designing some of the other type of activities, which I'll talk about in my other videos, will be for doing polls or surveys if you want to create some sort of interaction with the people that are visiting your site. So this is the whole build area, and if we of course want to move on to changing the layout or design, we can click on the design, which will bring up that theme list that we looked at before. We have to choose either changing the color of our website here, which we can customize the existing theme, or we can change the theme through this button, which of course will load up those examples we saw before. And any information that we've entered, if we click on a preview, we'll see how our site will be reformatted based on the new theme. So we can see the logo that I added here. Any of the other information that I've added will continue to be available. It'll just be reformatted in a different sense. And the preview is nice so we can see whether or not it fits with our design choice. I'm going to cancel that out. And of course we can change some other options here, but if we want to go back, we can go back and modify the existing design, such as changing the font style. This will be consistent across the entire website, so if you choose a font here, we can select things like title fonts, navigational menus, and you can see highlights showing up on the various areas that are including that, so we know what is going to be modified based on the header areas. General text, paragraph text, which of course would be our body copy, any hyperlinks that we may have. In this case there's none showing, but all of these can be modified. So if I want to change the let's say the paragraph titles, we would click on this and it will bring up a list of fonts that are available to us, as well as the size. So there are probably a fair number of options here, so I'm sure you'll find something that suits your need. Just stay away from Comic Sans. That's just a really bad font. In terms of the other things, again, you can choose the font itself. It should then update our headlines that we have currently in our entire site. We can choose to increase font size, which will make that font a little larger. Whether or not we want the font to be bolded or italic, in this case, sorry, not italicized, but bold or regular. Some fonts may have the ability to change the font style, but most of the time it'll just be either regular or bold. As well, we can change the color of that text. Whenever we utilize that drag and drop for a new headline, it will take on these parameters. The line height will define, I believe, the distance between, if we have multiple lines of that, how spacing will be between the individual lines. So if I go back and I add some more to the headline, then as I increase the line height, that will add what is called leading, or space between the lines of text, just to make it a little bit more legible. You may have noticed also when I clicked in that box, we have some additional options such as italicize or underline or bolding, which isn't part of the sort of style that we've defined here. Rather, this can be changed for this one individually rather than across the entire site. So if I wanted to italicize or underline that section, I highlight the piece of text that I want to modify and then choose the appropriate options. We can also emphasize just that text itself by either scaling up the individual font and or individual words, but again, this is relating just to this block of paragraph titles, not across the entire site. So any of the changes that you do here relates to the entire site versus just individual areas. You can change the color of the font, but generally this is already set up, and I would suggest leaving it alone, but you can choose another color by selecting a color here, or this might be locked down based on select the text you want and then choose the color from either an existing palette, or using this color picker we should be able to choose a specific color, but it appears that some of these have been locked down so that we don't go too crazy and make some really garish choices. If we wanted to add a link, a hyperlink to a particular title, so if we wanted a clickable thing to take us to another location on our site or to another web resource, we can of course highlight that section again, just like we did with changing the color, and we can click on the create link, and it will ask us for either a URL, a page on our website, or an email address that we want. And then in this case, if we want to go to another website such as, let's say, Google, we can ask that to open it in a new page so that we don't leave our website. Generally it's a bad idea if you want to not open a new website or web page. It will close your existing one and take the people away from your site, and then of course they'll have to go navigate back. So it's better to open a new window if you want to have a separate link. So when I save that, it will then make that a hyperlink, and generally hyperlinks, in this case, it appears that it will change color when I go over it, and you'll notice that the hyperlink has overridden the color of the font, because for making it more legible to somebody as being a hyperlink, they want to, of course, show it in a different form. You can also change things like formatting of the text in terms of the alignment. Here we'll have left justified, center justified, right justified, and justified left and right. Generally, this is not good unless you're doing very large blocks of text, but it adds a lot of space to make the line fill the entire length. In this case, I don't have that much text there. But as you can see, it's justified left and right, and it will add spaces between text. Not a good choice if you're doing large block areas of text, but some people like it, and that option's there. This button here will take out any formatting that we've done and just return it back to straight text. And then we also have an undo and a redo button, so if you make a mistake, you can use those options. Outside of changing all of the fonts and things like that, of course we can choose other options such as hyperlinks, how they're going to show up, etc. If we want to change the color of the link, we can say that the link color instead will be more like the blue color that we're used to seeing for most hyperlinks, or whatever color you choose. So it automatically will reformat that to make the adjustment that we've made. And then if we wanted to, we can go in and design more pages for our website by clicking on the Pages tab, and we can give it a new name. So currently this current page is our home page where people would enter into our site. If we want, we can have up to 10 pages under the free plan. So if you wanted to do a simple website, you can do it without spending any money. And you can also choose different types of layouts for any new pages that we're going to generate. So anything we change here will relate to the existing page. If we want, we can put in a new page by clicking on the add, and then choose again what type of page it's going to be. If it's a standard page, it will be similar to the one that we saw earlier. And then you can change the order of it here if you like. It says you can drag the pages to the right to create a sub page. That will of course be a sub page of the home page, or I could just call this other stuff, and we can hide page navigation, which would bring up little buttons, I believe, at the top of our website or wherever the theme had laid them out. We can also choose whether or not we want headers, large headers, short headers, which will be the top of the page before the content that we create ourselves. We can have it without a header, which would just be a blank slate, or it would be similar to the landing page, which is your home page layout, I believe. You can also make these pages visible to the public, or you can also make them password specific if you want to only share it with certain people, so that's quite useful. If you want to do it for a group membership, then of course that requires an upgrade to the existing options. If we go back down here, we have advanced options where we can put in some additional code keywords or meta keywords that will be useful for search engines to find our website if we are posting this out as a public site. We can also include some code, if you know HTML, to put in some additional footer or header information. Or if you don't want people to see this website, you can hide any of this metadata from the search engines that gets indexed by Google or Yahoo or some of the other sites that people use to find information on the internet. You can also copy a page, so if you found a layout that you like, you can duplicate it and then you don't have to rebuild it from scratch, or you can delete the page that we have, or we can save and continue on to the next part. So if we want to go, here's our second page. As you can see, I didn't choose the header, I just kind of chose this was a small header option, I believe. We can see it's just the same information that we had on the previous page minus the pretty picture, etc. And again, we can just start populating this using the drag and drop. One of the other options that you might want to look at is the actual ability to see what it will look like on a mobile device. And it will do a lot of the formatting for us, so we don't have to create multiple versions of our website. Here we can again drag various elements in and see what it would look like on either a tablet or phone versus on a web browser. If you want help with using Weebly, they do offer this option at the top here, the site planner. It'll tell you how far you've gotten through the process of creating a site before you go ahead and publish it. And if you click on that option here, it will bring up a guide as to how to do certain tasks if you're not familiar with the program or the application in terms of building your site or how to grow your site's presence on the internet. These are all very helpful, and there's videos that you can watch that will relate to that particular area of interest. And then finally, once you've created your site, you can go to the publish option, which will then again ask you to double check your website domain, and then when we say continue, it will ask us to create a category for this, so it'll be easier to find in the Weebly index. If you want to do something that's going to be relating to education, we can set that as our category, and then a subcategory here for either teachers or class projects or other things of that nature. So if I want that to be a class project, I'll say continue, and then it will set it up to publish this, and it will ask you just to verify that you're a human with a CAPTCHA thing to enter in some information there. So once I enter that, it's going to publish my site and make it available to the world based on the settings that I chose before. We can also share it on Twitter or on Facebook if we'd like. This is just to give you the option of purchasing a domain name, and it will tell you whether or not that domain name is available. So that is my presentation. Thank you for watching.